Hello, everybody. I'm going to go through fairly quickly how to do the analyses that we're going to have in Chapter 7. And this is also what I would like you to use on your class project. I would strongly suggest just doing a regression analysis like the one that we're doing. And when I go over the PowerPoint later on, you'll understand what all these numbers mean. But the purpose of today is just to walk you through how to do the pointing and clicking of getting through how to do a regression and a residual and normality plot analysis in Excel, which is very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Now, what we have here is this is the college tab from the data file that's in the Chapter 17 module tab in Canvas. And I just cut and paste it into a clean sheet so that we would have that. So this is similar to what I want you to do for your project. In your project, I want you to get a minimum of at least 10 companies in the industry, that whatever one you're doing your portfolio paper in, and gather data on that. Now, this is, I'm not saying data like this, but you need to get the name of the businesses you're looking at in whatever column, probably column A would be best, and then put your Y variable or the variable you're trying to predict, whatever that is. And this is all based on whatever you're trying to look at. So if you're trying to say sales in this industry are driven by certain things, well, sales would be here. Here they have earnings. Earnings is fine. Okay. And then what you would have next to that are some variables that you like to think help predict whatever it is you have there. So it could be like marketing, employee expense, research and development, whatever you have. And then you can put all these in column format with headings with the companies over here, and then run that analysis like I'm doing now, and then take that and use that to guide your paper that you're writing for my class. Okay, and if you go look at the rubric for the grading, that'll give you more information on what each section has. So you need to build up with theory on why you chose the variables that you have. But today we're just going to be looking at what we have as far as running the analysis here. So the first thing that you want to do once you have this open, you got to make sure that you have the analysis tool pack added on in your Microsoft Excel. And then if you haven't done that already, you can do that just before you begin. And but then today we're just going to be looking at running the analysis. So go to the data tab and then go to data analysis there. And we want to go down to regression, hit OK. And then the Y is what we're trying to predict. So as I said earlier, we're going to try to predict earnings. So we'll just go ahead and take this data and put it in here. Now I'm just dragging it down. If you like to put the hotkeys in, that's fine. These have labels, meaning that there's a heading up here at the top that we're looking at. That way it doesn't try to do math with that. And then our input range for X, these are the variables that are predicting that Y that we're using. So we'll go ahead and take these, put those in there. You can type in the cell references if you like. I just like to drag them. And then if you want to, you can have it go in a certain part of this spreadsheet, but I just put new worksheet just to make it simple. And then instead of having 3 separate videos on how to do residuals and residual plots and normality plots, we're just doing this all at once. So go ahead and click residuals, residual plots. You can even hit the confidence interval there and normality plot. Okay. So this is going to test all your assumptions as well as run your regression and give you a confidence interval all at the same time. So take this, hit OK. And there you go. Okay, here's all your things. There's your intercept, your these are your betas. So when you're writing out the regression equation, you can just have pretty much everything you need right here. All right. And then if we're looking at confidence intervals, we see we have those over here. And here's your residuals down here, if you actually need the residuals themselves. Up here we have the R square and adjusted R square. These are 2 numbers that we'll be talking about in the PowerPoint where I go over stuff for this chapter, but that's where you find those. Here's the F test. That's something else that we'll be looking at. That's the significance. So we see that That's a very small number. Whenever you see the E, that means it's 0.000 something. So that means it's significant. And here's the p-values of your t-test for each individual variable. So you can look at those, and we'll talk about those later. And those are the main numbers we'll be looking at. And then here's your plots of your residuals. Okay, and we'll talk about what these plots look like in the PowerPoints and what you're looking for in these plots. Okay, so but here's those plots, and it just spits them out for you right there. So that's pretty much the gist of how to do what you need for your project, and also what we need for this chapter. And I have this worked in the Excel file saved in the chapter 7 module, so you can actually pull this up and look at everything yourself. All right, thank you very much.